Hey there, yogi, and welcome to your Runner's Lunge breakdown. For this practice, you are going to want 2 blocks or something similar. We really need that elevation of the hands off the earth, which will really help with alignment, protect your back, and also help you to engage your core more. So when you're ready, we're going to start standing at the top of the mat, and then we'll move into our shape from there. Starting at standing, you'll see that my blocks are right at the top of the mat. I'm going to bring my feet to hips with distance. Let's just inhale, sweep hands up high. Fire up the core here, right? So start to bring belly into spine. Bring that navel towards the spine, super strong. Bend your knees, and then slowly transition yourself to the earth. This matters a lot. This is all part of how we transition into the shape. You'll see that my knees are still bent. And then when you're ready, you can come up to a halfway lift. Now this is where the core is very much fired up, right? Your back should be nice and straight. So belly into spine, super strong here. And then we use the blocks for support. So bend the knees, right? Hands are on the tops of blocks. I'm going to bring my blocks nice and tall. And then start to shift your weight into your right foot. Bring your left heel up to your left glute. Send your leg back nice and long and touch down. There's your runner's lunge. Now we'll adjust, right? Because hands need to come to the outside of your right leg. You might find that you want a little bit of a longer stance in your legs. Press into your right foot. And we'll start by fanning up the toes, bringing the baby toe, fourth, third, second, and big toe down on to the earth. Press the ball of the right foot and the heel of the right foot. So get nice and even. The whole foot is pressing. Yeah. And then check your knee, right? So the knee needs to be right in line with the heel, both just directly over. It's a 90-degree line. Okay. And then once we've got that, you're going to start to squeeze your thigh. And then you can bring your hand, your thumb, to the little crease in your hip and start to draw your hip back. Whew. You'll feel that. So now we've got our front leg in line. And let's get our back leg. So press into the 5 toes of the left foot. Start to squeeze that thigh and then draw the left hip forward to meet the right hip. You'll see it more on the other side. So if you don't quite get what I'm saying, you'll see it. It's a pretty substantial shift. And then bring your hand to the small of your back and start to lift your left hip up, right? So that you have the dimension, right? So the hip points aren't just even now to the front of the mat, they're also even in space, right? So pressing into the ground. Once you get those hips even, you should be able to lift belly up into spine. So squeezing that belly up to spine, getting nice and strong in the core. And then last move, and this is why these blocks are so important, you're going to draw your shoulders away from your ears. Nice and long in your neck and stare at the earth. There you go. You should feel this in a lot of places. Your thigh, your right glute, your left quad, right? So the front of your left thigh, your hands pressing. You should even feel it a bit in your shoulders. Continue to work your core. This is the center of everything that we do. Last breath in here. Let it out. And then leaning into the front knee, you can see I'm shifting my weight forward, lifting left leg up. So just as we transitioned out, heel comes to glute, and then we stand at the top of the mat. Bring your hands onto your shins, find a nice halfway lift, long spine. And then exhale, fold it out. Perfect. If you want, you can pause this and then just give yourself a nice forward fold, like feet nice and wide. Dropping your head down, shifting side to side. When you're ready, we're going to come to the other side. And in this side, same as last time, we're going to bend knees and be really conscious of the transition. Pull belly into spine, right? Squeezing that core. Start to shift your weight into your left foot. Right heel finds right glute. Extend your leg back and then drop it down. It's one of my favorite transitions. I love when it goes right. So pressing both feet into the ground just as before. We start with the front foot. I'm going to move this block so you can see it, but you should have both your hands on those tall blocks. Press your left foot into the ground. Now lift up the toes and fan them down, baby toe to big toe. Press the ball of the foot and the heel of the foot, and then the whole foot, right? So really get this whole foot pressing into the ground. Knee is over heel, and if it's not directly, you got to make sure that it is directly straight down, and then also right from the dimension of forward and back. So let's squeeze left thigh. Same thing, bring your thumb to hip crease, draw that hip crease back. You can see it here, right? This big shift that happens in my hips. And it's something that I tell myself every time I'm in this shape. So just know that this is how we get the right alignment. It's like we keep reminding on repeat our favorite alignments. Now, bring your hand to the small of your back. And then you'll notice the dimension of your hips. Bring them even. And we're gonna take it back now, bringing your attention to your right heel. Draw your right heel back. You should feel a nice squeeze in your right thigh, and then last move, and it should be more significant on this side. You'll see it. Let's bring the right hip forward. Whew. I don't know if you could see that, but it was substantial for me anyway. And you pull belly up into spine. Get that nice long length in your spine. Draw your shoulders down onto your back. Nice long neck. You're staring at the edge of your mat. And you're breathing here. Breathe. Core is working. This shape will protect your low back. This shape, when practiced regularly, is the basis for all of our standing shapes, a lot of our transitions. So just be mindful that through daily practice, right, through a few breaths, you'll be able to really build this awareness in your tissues of what this shape is. So let's bend into left knee now. Send that right leg up to the sky, heel to glute. Here we are, right at the top of the mat. Hands to shins, nice big halfway lift. Exhale, fold it out. Ah, perfect. Press to rise. Nice big sweep breathe in. Exhale, hands to heart. We did it. So as I mentioned, I think this is something that could be practiced on the regular, whether you do it once a week or you do it every day for a couple of weeks. Just keep in mind that these alignments, right, particularly your hip points, where they are in space, matters, right? So you want to be really, really mindful of that, and we'll build off of this hip point pelvis awareness as we come into some really sophisticated shapes that require, right, the knowledge of where your hips are to protect that low back and to keep the core nice and strong. Be well, yogi. Enjoy.